Apsheni, Dumelang, Sanbonani, Malweni, Manero. Um, Thank you for joining us again. This is day 2 of the Rera Language School African Heritage Language Learning Challenge. The challenge, for those of you who may be new here, was set up to be able to have an opportunity to be able to look at what are the tips, traits, and secrets that one can be able to use to learn, to keep language for yourself, for your children, or for both. Why now? It's important now because obviously going into the holidays, into the holiday season, it's a good time to be able just to, with a bit of downtime, to focus on language. So thank you for all of you who sent in lots of comments and lots of questions. Of course, as we've indicated, whilst we are replying to everybody who gives a question, it's respectful. When we also meet on Saturday in the Zoom call, we will share that. So if you still want to join in, go to our website, rera.africa, and you'll find some information there. Sorry, I'll be looking a bit behind me because it's where I've kept my notes. I want to make sure that I cover everything. Today, we're talking about the challenge of my child can understand me fully or mostly, but they do not speak. Why does this happen? There are a number of different reasons why this happens. Linguists call this passive bilinguals or receptive bilinguals, meaning that they passively understand and receptively understand, but they're not producing the language. It happens for a number of different reasons. It happens because there is a lack of opportunity to practice. There are not enough people around you who can be able to help you with that practice routine. It happens also because children are at school a lot of the day, so that's they're exposed to whatever language is spoken in the school, and in these parts it's typically English. So that's becomes the majority language, and your language sadly then becomes the minority language. And that's why we're on this journey to be able to say, how do we make more use of the time that we have to be able to do as much as we can to retain, to maintain, to attain language. It happens also because sometimes children get laughed at, and as a result they just decided, I'm not going to speak if people are going to be laughing at me. One of you reminds me on Saturday, I can share some anecdotes about the sort of things that have happened to me around that sort of thing. And yeah, you just yes, some of us can develop thick skin around these things, but many of us are unable to, and as a result then we just keep quiet. Lack of consistency, parents, that's a big thing, and yes, I've been guilty of it myself. Lack of consistency meaning that you're not practicing enough. You practice now and again, and then we forget, because many of us also live in environments where our partners are not necessarily speakers of the same languages as us. Yeah. So what can we do about it? What we put together yesterday was a fantastic start to be able to help us in this direction. Fantastic. Why? I am a big believer in goal setting. Goal setting is the mother of all things. If you set it in a goal, you write it down, you work on it, that's then the important thing. Then it becomes an opportunity to be able to learn to flow with things. Now that we talked about goal setting, we also talked about, for those of you who had the workbook, we spoke about how much time you want to be able to set aside to only speak your heritage language in that period of time. For some of us, it will be 5 minutes because it's only the time we have, busy lives as we live. Some of us, it can be 2 hours because we have the luxury of time to be able to do that. The point is consistency and sticking to that, and then that actually works. Creating a need becomes a very important thing. How do you create the need? What are the key things that you decide as a family, including your children, in this conversation? That these topics we will it would be good if we discuss it in our heritage language, or at dinner time it's the time that we're going to be talking in the heritage language, or these are the things that you're interested in, therefore let's use that time to be able to talk in the heritage language, or these are the things that we associate the heritage language with, and as a result we use that time to do that. It's also playing up the positive associations that you have around the language, or that the child also has around the language, and of course diminishing anything that may be negative, and obviously cutting out and cutting off the people who would laugh, haha, your accent is not right, haha, you use the wrong words. It happens. I don't know, it happens with all of us who learn a language, and all of us who think we're fluent in a language, we still also make mistakes. So you'll have received your workbook. In the workbook, there are 4 questions that cover the strategies. You need to think about what those are. Please keep sharing. Like I said before, I've thoroughly enjoyed the conversations that I've had on the sides with people, on WhatsApp, on email, on the phone. I've also enjoyed the comments that have come up, and in the chats, in the messages that we have in our various social media platforms. Those of you who haven't done so, you may join us, as I said, at Rera.Africa, Rera.Africa. And tomorrow we will be chatting about what are the myths and how do we debunk them. Have a super evening.